All right. Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to Grace Middle School Live. And by first week, I mean third week, but super excited to be with all of you. We have Mr. H, Rosie, Josiah, myself. Rachel will be popping in later or now. Hey, Rachel, welcome. And so, yeah, we're kind of getting deep into this quarantine. I'm surprised, I've been adjusting. I don't wake up in a panic as much. I kind of know what my day is going to be like. I am getting used to it, becoming a little bit of a homebody. I've been riding my one-wheel outside a lot to cope.
Your one-wheeler is pretty dirty.
Yeah, it is very dirty. I was practicing tricks in a field and mostly falling, and so
Mostly falling, yeah.
it's pretty dirty, yeah. We want to run a couple of videos, just show you guys some of the ways that different people have been coping. I know I found this to be very entertaining personally, and so why don't you guys go ahead and take a look. Here we got Dude Perfect, obviously doing some near perfect stuff, chipping a golf ball over his baby. I'm surprised he's exploiting his kid's safety for views, but dog stopped the ball, ruined his fun there. Next one. Yeah, that's why you don't have a dog. Kayla's anti-pets. I say it's the only thing not sweet about her. She doesn't.
I'm with
Wow.
Yeah, Josiah's with her. Two of the nicest people I know don't like pets. I didn't know that was possible. Rachel's rethinking everything she thought about you guys. Here's one of my favorites. When you can't surf, you've got to make it happen. There's some creativity here. I think we have some T-shirts sitting on this table. I would love to share with anyone who gets on this level of creativity for sure. Yeah.
Let me cool you off a little bit.
It's a good point. It probably is like an adult son and his dad. Here's another one. Rosie showed me this one. Little Frozen 2 reference. Josiah, have you seen Frozen 2? I didn't see Frozen 1, but I decided to watch Frozen 2 with Kayla the other day, and I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I didn't think it would be for me, but I definitely enjoyed it. And so,
My computer, but it kept freezing.
yeah.
Oh,
I
that
almost
was
didn't
good.
get that. That's embarrassing, and it's live. So, how have you guys been doing, kind of adjusting to quarantine life? And
Well, quarantine life's been a lot of fun.
fun.
I really think, though, it's kind of turning me into a dog.
dog?
Yeah, because I'm constantly roaming around the house looking for food. When I go out for a walk with my wife, I get too close to somebody. She goes, no, no. I really look forward to car rides. And I think yesterday I barked at a squirrel in my backyard.
Wow,
so,
it's getting
yeah.
I was with you until the last one. I was like, me too.
That's why I don't have pets.
Might turn into them. I didn't know what we were signing up for. One of the ways that we're going to try to just keep the week interesting is trick shots in both the high school, middle school, Grace Student Ministries. We want to see your trick shots. I know I'll be posting
Hey, coach, I didn't leave my
mine
rice
tonight.
handy
If
up
you
there,
don't know
did
what
I?
I mean by
Quick,
trick
Sandy,
shots,
Sandy,
here's some
the lyric.
inspiration.
Thanks.
This is Dude Perfect showing us how it's done. I've been told that they try each of these things like hundreds of times, but they make it look like they just live like this. Like, yeah, I'll cook my toast. I'll hang
Hey,
my
coach, I
blanket.
didn't leave my rice handy up there, did I?
Do
Quick,
all my
Sandy,
chores
Sandy,
from
the
one
lyric.
spot. Just throw things, yeah. Make life look so easy. It's awesome. But it's inspiration for trick shots, and obviously none of ours, they might not be that elaborate, but we'd love to see what you can come up with. Post it on Instagram, hashtag Grace Trick Shots, and make sure to tag us in it as well.
Sure.
And we would love to play yours as well.
All right.
For sure. So, yeah, I need to remember, I say this every week, I'm going to grab a ping pong ball when I leave today. That's going to be what I do with. I'm excited.
We're getting feedback that they can't hear Mr. H.
They can't hear Mr. H.
Really?
Oh, that's a problem.
Mr. H, could you pull that thing?
You're famous.
That's you won't have to share that mic. Would you mind
No.
pulling that closer?
Okay. Yeah, I'll just bring it closer.
Yeah, I think
Is that
that'll
better? Sorry, guys.
help. And Rosie, if you wouldn't mind, could you go to the soundboard or Rachel and push up up HH2. That's Mr. H.
Okay.
Mr. as as you're now known by.
Yes, now I am no.
Yeah, well, hopefully you can hear Mr. H in a moment. One of the things Mr. H was telling me, we were talking about games and different ideas, and Mr. H was telling me about these things that they used to play called wacky wordies.
Wacky words.
And
Yep.
I was a little intimidated by these when I first saw them because I realized like the games that I played when I was a kid didn't make me smarter. They probably killed brain cells, but this is definitely a challenge. So we're going to throw some of these wacky wordies on the screen. I'll give you the answers to 2 of them as examples, and if you the first person to comment, we can't give that many prizes away. We'll give one to the first person to comment a correct answer to one of these wacky wordies,
Okay.
and I'll give a second t-shirt to someone who can get 2 right. And you cannot win 2 t-shirts because that's just too generous. And Caleb, we do remember we owe you that black t-shirt. I'm going to drive by and shoot it out of the t-shirt cannon soon. And so
That'd be fun.
here are our wacky wordies. And so the ones that say example, I'll explain how these work. So and you can comment the answers at any time. But example on the bottom right, the word is lower in the box than usual, and the word is self-esteem. So the answer is low self-esteem. Right. And then the top middle example, there are 4 C's. So you say 4 season, and you get 4 seasons, like we have here in Ohio, one of the many reasons to live here. And so with that being said, we're looking for the first one to comment one of these other ones, either number 1, 2, 3, or 4. Whoever gets the first one right will give you a t-shirt. And if someone can get 2, that's not the same one who got the first person. So Rosie, you got to look for those answers. I think I already see one.
No Googling.
Ooh, yes.
Are they coming up? Yeah, no Googling.
Yeah, Garrett's vlog says split decision, and that is correct. The word decision
Wow,
is
these are
split.
coming in quick, guys.
Yeah, these things really make you think.
They do.
I mean, you look at them and like, what in the world? And then when you see the answers, sometimes
Okay, so
it's
we
like,
have
oh yeah.
Garrett with split decision, so he got that one. And then we have a close. With Lance, we have low self-esteem. You got that
Ooh,
one.
that was an example. That doesn't count.
Caleb got it. Caleb got
True.
it.
I'm still happy that he's put it in, though. That was good.
Which one?
Slightly overcast.
Could you
Yeah.
lean in a little bit?
Slightly overcast.
Slightly overcast. Caleb, which Caleb is that?
Which one was the
Oh, that's Zaleski.
was it the first one?
Oh, no. Caleb Parrott. Caleb Parrott. He got it. So Caleb Parrott's got 1. Is anyone going to get 2 right? My number 1 life, that's not correct. My first life, not correct. Seconds, and then we'll throw out the rest of the answers. We've got a prize for first, that's Caleb Parrott, now at 2 t-shirts. But then if someone happens to get 2 of them, we'll give a prize for that as well.
Number 2 is really pretty good. If people would figure that one out.
Number 2 is easy, I think. I was expecting
That's
that
what I was
to be
thinking. I
one
thought
of
that
them.
was pretty easy.
Slightly overcast, I like that one. Split decision, that was solid. And then we have, so I'll go ahead and give the answers. So there are 4
We got it. We got it.
What is it?
Right? Yeah, for once in my life.
For once in my life, that's correct.
Wow.
Just
Correct.
in the,
Nicely done.
Natalie Lisowski got that.
oh, good job, Natalie. Awesome. And so that sums up all but number 2. So if someone, the shortest distance between 2 points, Wayne Gallings, that is correct. So,
Wayne, nice going,
yeah, Wayne got it. So no one got 2, but we did have a winner for number 1. And so congratulations on that. Here are our answers in case you were wondering what's going on. There are our answers. I'll show them one more time. There you go. And so we'll put a lid in that. I've got a game that I'm super excited for. We are going to play charades.
Charades.
And when I say charades, not only are we going to play, they're actually going to decide which ones of us are going to play. but everyone watching is going to play because we're going to have people acting that you choose, audience, and then what we'll do is that person will try to get through 2 prompts. They'll have 1 minute to get through. Actually, we changed the rules on this. We changed the rules. We're going to give our actors 1 minute to act out as many prompts as they can. In the audience, you are going to put them in the chat. And one fun fact about live stream is there's about a 30-second delay, which is pretty long. And so as an actor, if you have confidence, like, I've done this, people are going to know what I'm talking about, you can move on to the next one. And if we find it in the chat, you get that point. But if we don't find it in the chat, then you didn't do it. And so over by Mr. H's foot, we have a pitcher full of prompts for charades. And in that pitcher are the titles of Disney movies. So every single one, everything that we're acting out is the titles of Disney movies. And so, audience, why don't you go ahead and comment the person you want to see go first? And so who do you want to have go first? Rosie.
Wait, no. But that was,
I
it
see
was
Rosie.
Rachel first.
There was
Oh,
some
no, it was
Rachels
Jordy
first.
first. Because I was just talking to Caleb. That was different.
All right, Rosie,
I think
you're
it's
the
Jordy.
voice of the people. Who's going first?
You're going
I'm going first. Okay.
And then it's Rachel.
I'll be a good sport. So I'll go back here on the mat. So I'm going to take my pitcher. Rosie, you're going to keep time.
Okay.
And I have 1 minute to act out as many of these as I can. I want really clear timekeeping. And then we'll watch for 30 seconds afterwards to see what prompts come in. If I
Sounds
feel
good.
good about it, I'm going to move on.
Okay.
And
just make sure,
I'll put that right there.
yeah.
For
Okay.
social
We're going to do
distancing.
a
All right.
5-second countdown.
Let me know.
On your marks. 5,
What's like the Sharpay?
4, 3, 2, 1. Your timer has begun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, okay. Interesting. Wow. Wow. Okay. Oh, he's committing. Wow. And we're moving on. Interesting choices. Oh, he's sitting down. Beautiful. We are 30 seconds in. No guesses. Interesting.
I know that one, yeah.
20 seconds.
Easy.
Okay. And remember, guys, you're guessing Disney movie titles. Oh, the shoe came off. Interesting choice.
What do I got? How much more time?
You have 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're doing a lap. So he has 30 more seconds.
To watch prompts come in.
Okay, all right. Nuggets is not the answer, Audrey. Good try. I would love some too, personally.
No Pocahontas.
Superman, Frozen, Psychopath.
Ooh,
Coco.
Frozen was one of them.
Beautiful. So we have 1. What do we got? Titanic?
Wayne Gellings is correct on Cinderella with the shoe.
Toilet paper. I wish. All right, it's going to stop in about 2 more seconds. No more answers now.
All right, so I'll tell the answer. So Cinderella,
Oh, beautiful. We got
that
that
was
one.
the shoe. Frozen, that was when I was cold. Moana was my first one. It's like one of my favorite movies. I was trying to act out sailing, but I don't think I was super successful. And then The Incredibles. Yeah, Lila did. So I got 3. All right, so I have 3. 60 seconds. Audience, thank you. 3 for 4. You did a great job interpreting my
Okay.
semi-terrible acting.
Who's next, guys?
Yeah.
Who's next?
Who's next?
Rachel, Mr. H, or Josiah?
Ooh, I'll look for, let's look for the next comment.
Josiah.
We'll go with next comment. Whoever,
Next comment.
whatever name shows up first, we'll
Let's
have
see
go.
who's the winner. We gotta wait 30 seconds, so you can just hear me sing, or I can just hum loudly in the.
I think it's gonna be Rachel. I really feel like it's gonna be Rachel.
Oh.
Rachel Curtis, I just want to apologize.
Oh, jeez Louise.
It's Rosie!
You guys.
Rosie, all right.
I thought we were
Here's your
friends.
picture. I will take your phone for timekeeping. All right.
Josiah gets to go next.
All right. 5,
Thought we were friends.
4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Okay, I'm committing to that one.
It just clicked.
30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Whoa. Wow, I'm inspired. Ooh, I know.
Okay.
Audience, come on.
Committing. Oh, this was the one I didn't want.
You can pass.
I'm passing. Okay, cool.
All right. You have 8 seconds, though. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's watch for those prompts. 30 seconds. Rosie, go ahead and gather what you got. You'll have to reveal to us at the end of those 30 seconds. No, keep them.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let us know what you're seeing. What are you seeing, Josiah?
Oliver Twist, Finding Dory, Beauty and the Beast,
Beautiful and Beast. Beautiful and Beast. That's one.
Tarzan,
Yeah.
Sanitizer,
Close.
Betty and the Beast, Lion King, King Kong, Tarzan, Monsters Inc.
Oh, I wish I had Monster Inc. Okay.
All right. Time is up. Rosie, reveal
The
to
ones-
us what's in the chat and what did you have?
Okay. So I had Beauty and the Beast. So awesome on that one.
Got that
I
one,
had
yeah.
Tarzan, which fun fact, Tarzan was produced the same year I was born in 1999. Isn't that gnarly? The next one I pulled out was Hannah Montana. Was not sure how to do that one. So don't even sweat that y'all didn't it. I'm just definitely disappointed in all of you. Alice in Wonderland, so that was actually really hard.
That's
so
tough.
I think I need like a positive point instead of a negative for this one, just because cop out. I haven't seen it. So I got 2 out of 4.
2 out of 4. All
Thanks,
right. Give it up
guys.
for Rosie. Great job. And let's go ahead and have, I think we should have one more contestant. So,
No.
the people have spoken.
Oh, no.
The people have spoken. So, Rosie, get that timer ready.
I'm so ready. Are
Mr.
you
H,
guys
you
ready?
got those prompts.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I didn't know I was going to be involved. Yeah.
To do with it.
40 seconds left. Why do you? 30 seconds. Make sure to keep all your prompts too.
You got about
Ooh.
15 seconds left. Oh, that's pretty good. That was,
Ooh,
oh,
I think I know.
me too, because that was an easy one. That's why. You got less than 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right.
We have 30 seconds to watch for prompts. 30
All
seconds.
right, come
to
on,
watch
guys.
for
Get them
prompts.
in. Get them in. Okay. Ooh, we got Up. What else? Hercules.
What? Oh, man.
Wow.
I'm-
Okay,
I'm
switch it up,
nervous.
y'all. Oh, Cars. Wayne Gellings coming in again.
All right.
Driving a car.
13 more seconds for
Madeline.
prompts. I don't even watch
Cars is
Disney
right.
stuff. Oh, my God.
Okay.
So sad.
Jared Kahn said Cars. So
All
did
right, that's-
everybody else.
That's time on the prompt. So what did
Bam.
you have, Mr. H?
Okay, the first one was Wreck-It Ralph. I had no
Oh.
idea.
Ooh,
Let me
I
see
think
if
I
you can
saw
go
that
back.
in there.
Yeah, you see that one?
Check
There
in.
was,
Hulk.
Yep.
One was Up, going up.
Tessa Corey
Cars
said
was
Wreck-It
one,
Ralph.
and then the last one was Monsters, Inc., and I just ran out of time with that one.
All right, so that's 3. That's 3,
For
correct?
Yeah, 3
All
for
right,
4.
we're tied. We're tied.
Nice.
Oh, we need a tiebreaker.
I think, do we let in one more person?
No, you need a tiebreaker.
A tiebreaker,
Head to head.
but that would require 2 more rounds.
Oh, that's true.
I think that's a little more I'm willing to bargain for.
Well, we could do it both at the same time,
Oh.
and they could pick which one they want to answer on.
That is brilliant. All right.
Brr.
All right.
Gotcha.
Or we should take the same one. No.
No, I think different. So
Okay.
Rosie, you're gonna keep time just so
I'm ready. Okay. We're going to do a 5-second countdown for you wonderful people. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Interesting. Great choice of
Who you watching?
hands. Oh,
Oh,
Jordy is
Jordy's
going for
banking on it.
another one. Less than 10 seconds in. Wow, you guys are. Oh. That was pretty.
Oh, wow. That was
That was good.
very good.
All right. Less than 40 seconds.
Jordy is.
Someone needs to screenshot this immediately.
I have no idea what that was.
First one to screenshot
Probably
it
frozen
and tag us in to the Grace Unshaken Instagram page. Oh, these are good. Oh, we have less than 20 seconds left. Come on, guys. Oh, my. Less than 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3,
I love
2,
that.
1. All right, 30 seconds to look. Oh my gosh, you guys are fun.
Done. Okay, I'll start reading. We got a Tarzan. We got a Lion
Brave.
King.
Iron Man.
We got a Finding Nemo before you did Finding Nemo, but you got King Kong. You got Dory.
Muppets.
You got
Someone,
Avengers.
did anyone have the Muppets? Mulan.
Avengers was right? Yes. Lion King,
Yeah,
Princess
just
Frog.
text it to me if you have my number.
movie. Lion King, Mulan, Hulk,
Avengers.
Elmo, Avengers, Dory, Finding Nemo. All right, 30 seconds. Big Bird.
Wow, yep, that's it.
Oh, I was like, who are you talking to?
That was great, guys.
all right,
Awesome
so-
Guys,
job.
that was fun.
So Mr. H, you want to read your prompts? See
Well,
how
I
we
didn't
did?
get any of them. One was Brave. One was the Princess and the Frog. That one was really tough.
That's-
just come in. I don't know if it's too late.
And
We'll
then,
count it.
The Lion King. But you had Lion King too, you said.
So we each got a point for Lion King. There was 2 Lion Kings.
Okay.
I do have it, proof.
There might have been 3 because I already took one out.
So is that all yours?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
All right. I had Lion King. Zootopia was my first one. I was trying to show the bars and an animal. So Lion King, Star Wars, Finding Dory. Rosie, no. Little backstory to tonight. I was like, Rosie, let's not put Finding Dory in there. Let's just put Finding Nemo.
I did them both. They're
She did them
separate
both.
masterpieces.
So I saw Finding Nemo, but not Finding Dory, so I don't get that. I don't get that point. And Avengers, so I got 4.
That's pretty good.
Good.
All right, thank you.
Got a winner. Which T-shirt do you want?
I practiced all night. I have all of them already. I'll save it for someone else. I have all of them already, and so very cool. Well, we're gonna go ahead and take some time and just get in the Word a little bit. I want to mix things up a little bit and talk about something that maybe different than COVID-19. It doesn't mean we'll never talk about it again or address it, but I want to just go off subject and talk about something else that I think is just so important for all of us, and that is the topic of identity. And I'll say first, so I grew up most of my life in church and in youth group, and I remember when, like, my youth pastor would go to speak on identity, I would be like, oh, couldn't that for the girls' retreat? Like, I remember I literally believed, like, that is the message to make girls feel better when they don't feel pretty enough. Like, that's what I would tell myself. And it was
Oh
terrible.
my.
And I've grown up and realized a lot since then, and we'll get into that. But, yeah.
You think guys could have an identity issue too?
Oh, for sure. And I've realized that. And sometimes in similar ways, but often in very different ways. I think the struggle is just as real.
For sure. Anybody else here underestimated that topic, or you roll your eyes when you hear that topic? Or is that
Everybody's
No, not
looking
so
at
much,
me. I don't know
Yeah.
how to take
Identity
that.
has always been something that I have struggled with. Yeah, when I was in junior high and elementary school, junior high, I just wanted to fit in, and I didn't know who I was. I didn't want to be who I was. I wanted to be somebody else, and I always was trying to be somebody else.
Yeah.
And it leads to problems later on in life. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I think for me, I didn't make that connection of, like, when the pastor talked about identity, of, like, how that could impact me. Like, I thought for some reason, like, that was the girls' topic or things, but there were ways that I was struggling with identity, and I just didn't really know what it is. And so maybe you don't know what we're talking about. You haven't been to an identity sermon or things like that. When we talk about identity, it's really just a word that describes who you are or who you find yourself to be. So some people might say, like, I'm a goofball, I'm an athlete, I'm a hard worker, I'm a friendly and kind person. Those are different identities that we believe about ourselves. Maybe on the negative side, you say, I'm average, nothing special. It can be very specific, like, I'm my mom's favorite, or I'm the smartest sibling, or I'm the least favorite sibling, or I'm the youngest. All of those can become a part of our identity. And I believe just one of the cruelest truths about identity, specifically the negative ones, is that we tend to live up to them. Once we believe them, we tend to live up to them, we tend to act them out, and we just expect that for ourselves. And so that's what we do. But the good news is, I believe on the positive side, just like we live up to negative identities, if we believe well of ourselves, we can live up to some of those positive identities as well. And so I think just because of that, it's super important to talk about.
When do you think this all starts? Like, can any of you guys remember how early in your life you were thinking about what is my identity, or who am I, or what differentiates me from everybody else? How early
Yeah.
do you think that started?
Well, I know in my life it was second, third grade.
Yeah.
It was, I took on the identity that I couldn't learn. I was dyslexic. That was one part of it, but I got the attitude that I was dumb, that I couldn't learn. And that stuck with me for the rest of my life. I remember, it's been some years ago when we first got our first computer, and I actually did something on it, and I said, wow, I can learn. I mean, but that's how long it plagued me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it starts young. Like, I think, just even the way, like, your parents treat you, like, it's like, if they expect you to be the good child, you start like, I'm the good child, and then you're less likely to act out than your other siblings. I think it starts at as young as we start to really have thoughts and to be aware of ourselves. I think as soon as we can feel sad or insecure or proud of ourselves, I think this journey of identity starts.
Yeah, I can remember as a young kid, I was always the pastor's kid in church. My dad was pastor my whole life, but probably even anybody with good Christian parents would resonate with, like, that's not what Christians do, or that's not what a pastor's kid would do, is kind of what everybody, so people higher expectation, which I knew I wasn't living up to, so I always had a strange mixture of, I'm supposed to be the good kid around here, but I know I'm really not the good kid around here, so.
Hi, guys. If we could just make sure we're all really close to our mics so everybody can hear, that'd
Yes.
be awesome.
Yeah, and back to what you were saying, Mr. H, just about like, the starting as a child, and I mean, I was diagnosed with dyslexia as well, but starting as a child and then into your adulthood, there's still like parts of your brain that are still thinking that way.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's amazing
Very much
because
so.
we change so much. Like, you could be bad at baseball at 11 years old, but work at it for 5 years and be a
I was.
rock. Yeah, but
I
you
was
could.
bad at baseball at 11 years old.
But you could be a rock star by 16 if you tried. But if you spend 5 years believing you're bad at baseball, that's never going to change. And
Right. It
I-
never will change.
I think that can be true in so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just even want to say, like, I think it's kind of funny that out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in this room, 3 of them are dyslexic, right? So one, it doesn't have to define who you are, but I think we grab onto that so easily because it's something, right? We so easily want something to define us because we're searching so desperately for that. But that's the whole point. Like, that's where God wants to define us, right? We get to jump into that wholeheartedly. So,
Yeah. I was thinking too about like this, if your identity, if someone maybe tells you like you're annoying, right? Like you're an annoying person, that can be something that you start to live up to. And I've seen things where I remember when I was in high school youth group or even in college where there would be someone who was like known, their friends would say, or their peers, I guess, would say, that person is annoying. Like that person is obnoxious generally to most people. And I've seen situations where there's a really group of like accepting Christ followers who just don't really care about image or social status. And they start inviting that person in, letting them hang around, being kind to them. And like within 6 months, no one would even call that person annoying anymore. Like their social skills have adapted. They don't view themselves in this kind of lowly manner. And it can completely redefine. And I think it's such a powerful, powerful thing. I'm not a psychologist. None of us are. I'm a pastor. But I want to talk about identity because I think if we don't take God into the of who we are, that it can really be this satanic process. And when I use that word, it's like, ooh, is it like mystical and, possessed? And not in like a weird, creepy way, but I think literally Satan will bring negative identity into your life, either through your own parents, through siblings when they're mad at you, through your own just insecurity in your head, or teachers or bad grades or coaches. There will be voices in your life that say things that aren't positive that you could start to wear as an identity or as a label. But on the flip side, God has his own set of labels and things that he calls us. And to not believe that and to believe what Satan says as well, that's Satan's accomplishing his goal. It's I think a satanic reality. And so I've just realized like this is such an important topic, and it's so important for us to really just believe what God has to say. And I've realized as well that like it doesn't matter if you're listening to this and you're someone who you don't feel like super connected socially, or that you really have this like place or this status that like you're cool or whatever, however people define that, and you think, oh, like, that's hard for me. Or maybe you're the person who like everyone looks up to and you're really good at something, or you're talented, and just for some reason the way you're made and who you are and the people around you, you're looked up to. I don't think it matters when it comes to this topic. I think it's equally relevant because it doesn't matter what you have going for you. If you don't have your identity right, it'll never be enough. And I think that's kind of mind-boggling, especially when I was younger, to like the person you look up to still has identity issues because they compare themselves to someone else, and it never ends. And you really have to have your identity figured out for sure.
So it sounds like you're saying that like no identity can make someone happy.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, I think it's great to feel loved or to be recognized for having a gift or a talent, or if you're a good older sibling, you're a good caretaker, like it's okay to say like, yeah, this is a part of me, this is something I, but none of those things, nothing besides the labels or the identity God gives us can fully satisfy us. And so even the person who like, they've got it going on, right? Like you're dude perfect and you're multimillionaire off of YouTube followers doing trick shots. If you don't have your identity right, that won't even be enough to satisfy you. But if you have it right, then you're well off because of what God gives you, not because of what the world gives you.
You know, I can remember when I was younger, I was born and raised in a Christian home, but I never put God in first. I always thought, I've got to fix this. I've got to be the one who makes myself popular. You know, I'm the one who makes myself fit into everybody else. But, you know, that's not where our true identity is.
For sure.
Yeah. So Jordy, you mentioned earlier that you like grew up in youth group like these kids, hearing this message, and so what didn't add up? I mean, like if you heard this truth, why did you still struggle with it? Why didn't just hearing the truth automatically fix you?
You know, as a pastor, I wonder that. It's like, I told you everything you need to go to heaven. Why don't you change everything? And it's funny because, you know, we all grew up in church, not always doing or really believing. And I think that word says it all. I think we can hear the message, but we might still believe too much in these false identities or these needs for a sense of identity or success somewhere else in life. And we might not hold enough stock or might not care enough about what God has to say. Like I think of when I was in 6th grade, jumpsuits were like kind of a thing. Well, at least I thought so. And so my mom saw one like on a mannequin at the store, and it was kind of expensive, and she bought it for me anyway. And she was like, "You look so cool in that thing." And I thought it was so cool, you know. And so I wear this thing to school, and like my friends, like people who are supposed to like me, start teasing me like, are you trying to be like a white rapper? Do you think you're Eminem? Like they were like all on my case about this jumpsuit. And like it's first period. I'm like, I have the rest of the day stuck in stuck in this thing. And I realized like my mom hyped me up and convinced me like this is cool. And she really believed that. She wasn't lying. She thought like that's cool on you. But when I wore it to school and no one else thought so, I didn't care what my mom had to say anymore. I just wanted to fit in with my friends. And
you
I think,
can't tell them that either. You can't say, my mom said it was cool.
yeah,
right?
yeah. And I think really, honestly, as cheesy as it sounds, we have to get to a place where we care what God thinks is cool. Like there's going to be parts of following God that fit in whatever culture you're in, and parts of following God that don't fit in. And the world is always changing, but God never does. And God's never going to be fully in style, but you have to wear that identity the most. And that's the only one that I think truly satisfies you.
Well said.
Totally.
But you know what that also reminds me of? You know, your mother thought you looked so cool in that. And that's, you know, what she thought. Well, God thinks we look so cool in the way we're dressed, the way he made us.
Yeah.
But when we go out to school or wherever and people start, you know, making fun of us for being a Christian because maybe it's not cool, maybe it's not in style, you know, I just kind of saw that the same way. You know, your mom thought it was great, but God thinks it's great, but no, we want to go someplace else with it.
For sure.
We aren't comfortable with it.
Interesting.
For sure.
Yeah, so I think it's also kind of a muscle to build. That part of the reason why hearing this message one time doesn't just fix us or make us like, oh, now my identity's in Christ, I'm never going to struggle with that again.
Yeah, I feel better now.
Yeah. You're so right that it has to do with belief in who God says that we are and accepting caring most about what he says. But I also think that doing that is like building any muscle takes quite a while. Like the Bible says to meditate on the word, right? And to like continually put this in front of you. And the more we do that, I think the more that muscle builds. And don't they say like how many good things have to cover up for one insult, right? Like if somebody says something bad about you, you're supposed to go back and tell them 7 good things about them or something to make up for it. And it's really kind of true. Like for whatever reason, we believe the bad things said about us way more easily than the good things. So I think it's also a muscle. So don't feel bad if you're like, yeah, I've heard this message before, but I'm not perfect. It's like one more rep on in the gym, right? Like
For
letting it
sure.
sink in. Yeah.
Yeah, lifelong process, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I agree. Totally a journey. I was reading in a commentary just about like the temptation of Jesus, and they pointed out in the beginning, like Satan, one of the things he pushed Jesus on that he said, if you were really the Son of God, and like he started to draw this question out of Jesus, like, are you really all that? Like, does that really matter? And like start to make as if he started to treat Jesus as though being God's wasn't enough. And I think that's the same thing we fight in our heads, like when we're struggling between like God's identity being enough or the world's, we have to wrestle with, and we have to start to fight to make it enough. And I read that, and I believe that's true, that was part of the temptation of Jesus,
Yeah.
for sure. And I think you're right, Josiah. It's hard, like you hear that one negative thing, and you're like, oh, maybe that's true. That's probably true. Yeah, like why would I ever believe that good stuff? We go negative, and I think that's why it's hard for the person who maybe feels like the world isn't giving them much. But I think it's hard as well for the person the world's giving a lot, because they can think that's so important, but it's not enough, so they can keep just digging deeper, trying to be more popular, more cool, more liked, more good at something, and then it's just never enough.
Huh. So even if the world is like accepting, if in general your identity is like, yeah, people love me, or they're more positive, but they're still from other people in the world, you're saying it's still hard for them?
For sure.
Maybe we could talk about why that would be.
Yeah. Please, anyone else, if you want to jump in. I think for the person who, like you have it going on, people look up to you, it's just, you're like, man, like that's so cool. Like, look at that. And so I think you keep trying to experience those moments, or to keep being liked by those people. And that voice is easily louder than God's voice. Like you talked last week and just about like God being in a whisper and Satan being in a shout, and I think sometimes we get used to that shouting, and we start to tune out the voice that matters most.
Well, how much does the social media play into just beating people down, those negative thoughts, because you could have, like you said, Jordy, you could be this coolest thing, but then somebody starts picking on one little flaw you have, and continues, and then everybody starts jumping on it, and all of a sudden your self-esteem is gone.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. I think the comparison on social media as well. Like
Yeah.
there's always the next thing up. You can see it right away,
Right.
There's no such thing as being a big fish in a small pond anymore.
Yeah, right.
What is something in your life, this is a question I wanted to get to. What is something in your life you had trouble believing about yourself? Thinking about this identity thing. So this would be something positive. We'll go with positive. Like something that's true about you. Maybe it's something God says about you, but that was just like it took you a while to really buy in or believe that truly in your heart.
I remember at this age, like middle school, really struggling to believe that people would accept me for who I am. Like really, I think I didn't even have a lot of mean people around me or anything. I just was this something in my head that said I don't fit into groups. Like I'm too different, or I think differently, or nobody understands me. I always had that in the playing in the back of my mind. So even when I was having fun with friends, there was something in the back that said like, oh, they're probably gonna talk bad about me as soon as I leave, or they probably really don't like hanging out with me. They're just pretending or something. I remember that record was playing a lot in my head. It was hard to believe that like I was acceptable, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I see that a lot as the pastor of the middle school ministry. There'll be a student who they're well liked, and they'll talk about like insecurities of not being well liked, and I'm like, you literally like you have more friends than almost anyone in this room. Yeah, it's not even fun for you. It's not even that great for you because you don't believe it, and that's so sad. And just one of the negatives about identity struggles for sure.
Yeah. If we talk about the positives of this, actually, how about you guys answer a few more of those questions of things that were hard to believe about yourself?
Well, it was very hard to believe for me that I was any good at anything. And when I was in senior high, I was in choir, and that became my group. And even there, I still doubted that I was really worth anything, but I did have a whole lot of fun singing, and it was
Like closer.
it was fun. But but other than that, I struggled with a lot of learning issues all the way through, which really held me down. But once I figured out that, hey, I can really do this, there was a lot of other positive things that I could do, I never focused on those. I always focused on the negative.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking of like, what's the verse that goes along with the one I struggle with, and I think 2 Peter 1:3. It's something that if you go through one of my ministries, you'll hear me preach on it at least once. It's where it's written that like God has given you everything you need for life and godliness, and that sentence, I could go on and on about the rest of the passage, but and it talks about being narrow-sighted and not realizing and things, but that sentence, like, God has given you everything you need for life and godliness. Like, I remember Francis Chan is like, he's like that radical pastor. Like, he's so Christian that, like, angels are nervous. They don't love God enough. Like, like I made that up on the spot. I'm sorry. But he just is. And like I watched a sermon once where he was like, there's no reason that anyone listening, like you in this room right over there, you can't be you can't be more spiritual than I am, because God has given you everything you need. And I think for so long, like, I always thought like, all right, like, oh, now I think God wants me to be a pastor, but I'm never going to be like that spiritual. And I think sometimes I just come off as a practical person, and I thought, no, I'm like too practical. I'm not going to like be that close to God or that intimate or love him that much. Like, I had this limit. And I even had one of my best friends was like, we could walk together and do a worship service, and someone would be like, oh my gosh, like, Tyler, of course you're here. And like, we'd be together, and we were best friends, but like, like, I looked up to him in the spiritual, Christian sense. But I thought, like, that's what a spiritual person's like. I'm not that. And it was hard for me just to believe that. Like, God has given you everything you need for life and godliness.
Yeah. We got to let that sink in. Like, he's everything we need.
Yeah, preach it. That's a good one.
Just, like, let it sink in and become your identity. These are the kind of things, it's so good to just sit and think about this stuff. You got some time to sit and think, probably. Let these things sink in. We obviously can't cover everything God says about us, but maybe some key things that God says that are important right now for the people listening that come to your mind. I'll share the first one that comes to my mind because it really is what began to heal me from the one I shared about feeling like I was not acceptable, or that people weren't really, like, I didn't have anything genuine to give that people would really like. I didn't really heal from it, and I haven't arrived, but it was when God began to speak to me that he accepts me, and he did it in really cool ways for me. I think he likes to speak in our languages that we understand the best, so for me, it's like this familiar whisper that every once in a while he'll whisper to me, and this is kind of it's going to seem like a silly story, but it was really, really meaningful for me. I was, because I've shared this before, if you went to the winter retreat, part of that need to be acceptance was like, I just wanted to be cool. I just wanted somebody to think I was cool. So one day I was in this prayer, like this house of prayer place, teaching a little class to some high schoolers. I think I was in college by now. This is when this stuff sticks around for a long time. And I was wrapping up this teaching, and I had a cool backpack that I really liked. And I was putting my backpack on, and I felt like while I was putting my cool backpack on, I heard God whisper, I think you're cool. And like, for whatever reason, it like broke me. I wanted to like cry right there, like, God thinks I'm cool? Like, I would never, that's not in the Bible, but
Yeah.
it was something. But what is in the Bible is that like, we're to remain in his love, or like, just as the Father has loved Jesus, so has he loved us. And so like, that deep love does come from God. That is biblical. But so in my language, it was, I think you're cool. And it was all I needed to hear.
Yeah.
And like, when I start to believe, it's not like I'm trying to tell you guys I'm cool. It's me trying to say like, I know whatever people think of me, I know like my Father loves me. And so that's what really started to heal it for me, that part of my heart that needed that.
Yeah, that's a realize my identity in God moment for sure.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think one of the times that I experienced God in that way where he just told me, you are loved and I love you deeply, was during the Promise Keeper movement back in the 90s at one of the worship services during one of the conferences. And it was just such a spiritual moving time. And I was there with a friend of mine who was legally blind, and I had to lead him around, and it was kind of, it was good. It was good that I could do that. And that's when the Lord just kind of spoke and just kind of said, yeah, you have worth. You have value. You have value to me, son.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think for mine, I would really go back to that 2 Peter 2:3. Like I really would. One final thing I'll say just to wrap up, and Rachel and Mr. are gonna lead us in worship. Super excited for that. But I'll just say like if you think about this, like just zoom back foot view. Like if you think about this, we're on earth. We belong to God. We're forgiven. And at the end of our lives, all that's going to matter is God's opinion. Does he see us as people who gave our lives to him, who are forgiven, who accepted what Jesus did on the cross? And that's going to mean that we go into heaven or we don't. Like that's the only opinion that matters. But right now, Satan is trying so hard with all these other voices, and like something as silly as like, oh, like this kid in my math class, what does he think? Or what do these 3 people my age think, and things like that. Satan's trying to leverage all of that to get us to try to live up to other identities and to feel terrible and not to believe true things about ourselves because we don't believe what God says. Like God has these things that we know are true about him. Like he doesn't make junk, that we're forgiven, that we're loved, that we're designed with purpose and meaning. And it's a great life to live when we believe that about ourselves. Like I love the confidence that I can walk into so many different seasons of lives and scenarios because I've began to really believe those things. And I think that's such a gift. And if I could leave you with one last thing, just take that 10,000-foot view every once in a while. Like just zoom back and don't be so caught up in your day-to-day and the people around you, and just look at this like as a big timeline. Like at the end of my life, all that's going to matter is God's opinion. And sometimes when it's hard, we just need to think of that. And so with that being said, I'd love just to pray for you guys, and then we'll throw up a little bit of an intermission screen, and we'll come back with worship in a minute. God, you love us so much, and you've given us everything we need for life and godliness. You've also given us your love. You've given us the truth, Lord, about what you think of us and who we're made to be, and that we're forgiven. And I pray against just those voices of the enemy that leave us caught in shame or thinking that we'll never be accepted or low of ourselves. And I pray against those voices of the enemy too that tell us that we're so cool or so important or so athletic and try to get us to live up to these other things and care about them more. God, one opinion matters, and it doesn't mean that we don't care about those other things at all, or it's wrong to be aware of them. It's not, God, but most of all, what needs to be first is your opinion. And would you, just like Josiah said, that it's a muscle, would you help us to exercise that muscle? Would you make it stronger for us, God? And because of that, we could live in the design that you've given us. We pray this all.
invite you guys to just worship with us right wherever you are. Doesn't matter who you're with or what room you're in. Just take this time to kind of talk with God or sing along with us. Lord, I pray that we would remember tonight that you created us, Lord, and that we were given a divine purpose when we were born, Jesus. It's not just left to the world's devices when we're born, God, but you already have given us purpose. You've already given us an image that is a part of you, a part of your own image, Jesus. And even tonight as we worship, Lord, I pray that you would just teach us how to worship you, God. Teach us how to love you more. Teach us that we were created to worship you. We were created to worship the God of the universe, not worship anything else, any other part of the world, but we were made to worship you, God. And I think there's such peace in that. And God, it doesn't matter what kind of room we're in. Like I said earlier, it doesn't matter where we are, God, because you've inhabited us. You've inhabited our hearts, God, and so we can worship you wherever we are. And you hear me when I call. You are my morning song. Though darkness fills the night, it cannot hide the light. Whom shall I fear? You crush the enemy underneath my feet. You are my sword and shield, though troubles linger still. Whom shall I fear? And I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. And my strength is in your name, for you alone can save. You will deliver me. Yours is the victory. And whom shall I fear? Whom shall I fear? I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. And nothing formed against me shall stand. I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, God, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you. I worship you. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. And you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Yes, that is who you are, God. That is who you are. And that is who you are. That is who you are. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop. You never stop working. You never stop. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop. You never stop working. You never stop. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop. You never stop working. You never stop. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. And even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop. You never stop working. You never stop. You never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. And you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Yes, that is who you are. 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 Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keep, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keep, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.
Amen. Normally I would say give it up for Rachel and Mr. H, but we won't be able to hear that. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I just wanted to let you know we'll be here next Wednesday. Small groups are coming up April 5th. Make sure to connect with your small group leader. Figure out what's going on online with your group. Every group is going to be online April 5th, and so don't miss that. And one other thing, and this is just for you gamers out there, if you are in middle school or high school, doesn't matter. We are going to start a Discord channel. If you don't know what that is, that's okay. And one of our advisors, Jared Christ and Jared Kahn and Michael Mateka, they're going to team up, and I'm going to be with them for at least the first week, maybe weeks to come. And we're going to do some gaming as a ministry. Some of you guys, you game, and there's other people in the ministry who game, and we're going to start just hopefully bringing everyone together. And so we're going to start this Sunday night at 7:30. We're going to go live on this YouTube channel. We're going to play Fortnite, Overwatch, maybe some Super Smash and other games, and you'll be able to jump on with us and play. You'll be able to watch if you don't play or join the chats and things like that. So if you're into gaming, don't miss it. If you're not, totally understand, and we love you. And so with that being said, looking forward to being with you guys in the future. And thank you. Rachel, could you just give us some chords, kind of beautiful little wrap up?
Okay.